Orthodox here. And processions, okay. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Gracious Lord, we're thankful for the blessing and opportunity to tread where the angels fear to tread, to be able to serve about your holy altar. We're asking that you guide us and direct us, grant us wisdom and discernment as we seek to serve thee and give glory to thee in this holy worship. We ask this in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, so there's a couple things we want to talk about a little bit. We're going to work on some practicum here. We talked a little bit more about the theory, so thank you for that. We also want to talk a little bit about the practicum about, for example, the censer, how we're going to do in terms of managing the lights, and then your movements liturgically, where you're going to be, and then processions. Now, we have some unique things. We have some unique things we're going to not be able to hit with you every single thing for all that's coming up for Holy Week. But we'll explain that in advance. And so we're asking if you want to help serve, like before each of the services of Holy Week, that if you can come a half an hour early to help with this setup, would be really good. And then also any explanations we need to do. It's much better if we can explain it beforehand than to do it during the service. And then the other thing is, I do have confessions up till Great and Holy Wednesday. Then after that, I'm not doing any confessions. So the half an hour on Holy Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, if you can be here for that, then we can explain what other things we might need to do, and then that'll help you at that point. Okay, quickly, we got, Noah's got a question.
Michael is not here. So
we're recording this evening.
Yeah, that'll be a helpful thing, because we are going to record it. Hopefully if the sound comes through, then we can be able to have that. Yes, Patrick?
Monday, Tuesday, okay.
No, I mean, if you guys come early anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday, Sunday night, Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday. It's just that I'm planning on doing confessions before, but we'll have at least one of us priests that can help organize things. Hopefully that'll help as well too, okay? Okay, these are all good questions. Any other questions before we jump into this? Okay, we're going to practice a little bit for the censer. So, Subdeacon Anthony, if you could do me a favor, go get the censer stand with that, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about the censer. Just using a handoff here, you have a chance to be able to do that. Now, between Father Nathan and I, we actually might have different ways that we take the censer.
Yes.
Yes, every priest has a specific way. So welcome to the Orthodox Church. You know, Father Michael Habib, in his frustration, once said, and this is nothing bad against Father Michael Habib, nor against our Metropolitan, but he was flustered at one point. He said, I just wish one Sunday Siaden would do the same liturgy as he did it the week before, right? Because they're very complicated, what we do. And we don't intend to change things, but sometimes we swap some things out. It just happens. We don't mean to. There is a set order we're trying to follow. But then what you just find out is you get to know each person's proclivities, the way they like things to be done, and that way we try to be able to help work with it that way. So we have two kinds of incense. We have normally the Nazareth incense, which we get for Holy Transfiguration. That is the scented one. That is the one that was the least offensive to anybody with scent issues here. But Father has a problem with it in the altar. Okay, so we don't use, when Father's going to be here, we never use Nazareth. When Father's not here, we can use Nazareth. Okay, that's fine. But otherwise we use the frankincense. And somebody told me, please help me, somebody said that they had ordered some of the high quality frankincense and they were going to get it in. Did you say that?
Yeah, it's a contact.
Oh, you were the one who brought it. Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, very good. So that we have plenty of that to be able to work with. So anytime, so whoever's handling the censer that day, make sure Father's here, we're not using that. There are other kinds of incense that got given to us that got popped in there. We just have to pass them off to the bookstore to sell them, because some of them are so scented. No, I would love to, because you can sell them there, because it's too toughly scented. So the censer, I want to tell you just a little bit about this. I mean, this is a huge thing. I don't know if you know how important this is in working the censer. In the Western tradition, in the Western tradition, do you know who actually puts with the spoon, with the incense on the charcoal? Do you know who does that? Or the bishop. It's the highest celebrant. So if it's a pontifical liturgy, it's the Pope. Only the Pope puts the incense on. Or the bishop, or the priest. Never the altar server. The altar server brings the censer, right? And lifts it up so that they can put on the offering. So they've maintained that ancient practice of doing that. Now we've given in the East a lot of things to the people underneath us, just like the bishops have given celebrating the liturgy, and then also the chrismation. They've given that. Oh, there you go. Hang on. They've given that to. They've given that to the people underneath them. So so just know when you're doing that, and the person who's doing the censer, I mean, that's a huge, huge thing. I mean, this is going back all the way to the time of the Jews in terms of how they're doing that. You know, during this Holy Week and that, we're using the silent one. I think you cleaned the censer. Does it need to be cleaned again? You might want to take a look at it and see. Because we have a nice solid silver censer which we're going to be using, and then the gold one. We'll talk with Father Nathan if we want to practice doing dueling censers or not. I'd love to be able to do that, but we have to work on that. It could be an Olympic sport, you know, synchronized censers. Okay, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so when people are handing me the censer, and let's look at how we end up doing it. I know when I would hand it off to the priest, I would sometimes hand it like this to them. That enabled them to slip it in like this, because I ended up taking it like this. This is how I ended up taking it. That way I can raise the bell higher enough, whatever this is called, the cover, higher enough from the, this is a themiato in Greek, mipcharat in Arabic, kadila in Slavonic, right? Yeah, or censer. So that enables to control the flow. One thing we have to be careful is when you're hanging back up here, why would you never hang it like this? Yeah, because if most of them don't have air pockets for air, and so you're effectively strangling it. So what happens in a few minutes when you go to hang it to the priest, the charcoal's now dead. It won't do it. And that's why we want to be mindful of being ahead of time, not too far ahead in putting incense on it, not too late. If you realize that, oh, I forgot to get the censer ready and I have to do it, then that's why we're going to have Nick as an expert at this. He's going to get the frankincense crusher out. And he's going to make a whole bunch of powder that you end up putting here, and you scoop up the powder. You put that on there, instant smoke. Because Sayyidina Joseph has told us, it says, our goal when the priests are offering incense is not to shake a censer. What we're doing is a liturgical offering up our prayer. Incense represents what? Our prayer, arising before God, right? Okay, and so we're offering incense. We're not shaking a censer. So it does me no good for you to give me a dead censer or something that doesn't have any smoke coming out of it. So if you're running a little late, then throw some of the powder on it. That will help. The frankincense will be great. The white powder from the Nazareth stuff will do nothing. It'll only actually smother the charcoal. So that's why we want to separate that white powder out and just leave the kernels of the stuff that's there. Okay. So usually when we have it, Patrick, why don't you hold this to me? I'll show you how I try to. He tries to hand it to me. I'm going to put him on the spot here. So when he holds it like this, he holds it out so that I can be able to slip it into here and pick it up. Okay. Now, Father Nathan, why don't you show how you like to have it? Because, okay.
Yeah. So when you hand it to me, hand it like this, because what'll happen is I'll grab it. So yeah. So leave me room to grab it there.
Right.
And then I'll just set that up myself, because it's different sensors, it's different which finger I put it on, and sometimes I just grab the whole thing. But this one is a little too high when I do it like that.
So you'll just learn the difference between both of us.
So just make sure, when you hold it, just make sure that I can grab it in there.
Right.
Like I'm the bigger one, I'll just go like that, so you see. Get it, you get that backwards. Because I grab it, because you
Okay, let's
with
do
my
this.
hand, yeah, so if you hold it, yeah.
So if you hold it up,
hold it. Yeah, so hold it, no, you hold this part, other hand, that is what I'm saying. You hold that with your right hand.
And then hold the other part.
And you can hold this part too, like you did.
Not that far down. Well, yeah, you could, I guess. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, what I do, when I hand it to somebody here, is I hold it like this.
Right. So that, oh, yep, yeah, then, yeah, sorry. Are you handing it to me or I'm handing it to you? Okay, I'm handing it to you. Okay, so, no, I'm going the other way, go the other way, other way. So
if you do it
go like this.
then we don't have to go like this to try to grab it and you kiss the back part.
Yeah, see, I know we've gone through the COVID thing with no kissing. We're kind of moving out of that at this point now. So what I'm just saying is that it is appropriate to kiss the hand, especially if the bishop's there, but the bishop will be very fluid. He'll move on. Generally, we have the subdeacons that'll help doing that at the time we have the bishop, okay? But generally, he'll go pretty quickly. So it's not like there are some clergy, and I will not say which jurisdiction, which will kind of go like this to you to make sure you kiss the hand of the priest. We're just trying to have it more fluid. Just more fluid action. You know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, anyway, so let's stop that. Anyway, so here's the thing. So part of also the thing that helps to know on the censer is if the service, depending upon how long, the person manning the censer needs to make sure, this is our old one, which we aren't using much anymore because we dinged it. We want to make sure that when you have to put in a new charcoal, empty what's there, right? Empty what's there, the ashes, so it's kind of as clean a bell as possible inside. The problem is you can't put the hot charcoal that you emptied in a pile of old incense ash, because you will ignite that on fire, and it is the worst smell possible. All right, so you want to put another empty bell or some other place. Don't put hot things on that, or else you end up getting smoke, and it'll smoke forever. It really will. Okay, so you have to be really careful with it. Okay. All right. Any other questions on the censer part? And here's the thing. Also, remember, this is not the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. Okay, where it has massive, massive high ceilings. We're pretty low ceilings for an Orthodox church. Okay, so 1-2 pieces of the Nazareth is all I really need. 3, you're pushing it. You know, for the frankincense, you know, if you put the frankincense, if you put something like this, that's going to be good. Okay, but if you load it up like this, okay. Now, if we're outside, it's a different thing. If we're outside, that's fine. But if you load it up, you know, with something like this on it, you know, I mean, you're going to have Old Smoky in here, all right? You're going to fumigate all of us out here, all right? So we want to make sure that if we're inside something like this, you know, that's going to be, of the small pieces, that's going to be enough. The trouble is, if you have small pieces like that, that's going to burn through pretty good. So that if he's doing a whole sensing, a great sensing out here, you might want to have a few small pieces of those. It's just practical, guys, just practical. The small pieces to light it, and then one big piece that'll help do it. That'll get you all the way through pretty well. Because we got a lot of icons to sense here.
And then if you're just coming up to do, if it's just with the gospel, you know, if we're just doing, like, before we do the gospel, just, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Don't load it up.
Yeah.
Don't do a normal amount.
Yeah.
When we're doing something where we stay inside of the altar.
Yeah.
Don't load it up.
1, 2.
Here's everything too, like, if you go out and drop the little entrance, we're singing the Beatitudes. Don't load it up and stand there, for 100 minutes to get to the Beatitudes, because then by the time you get out, you should only have to put a couple pieces of incense on it, but they got a timer for it, you know, so you can watch about halfway down of the Beatitudes, then put 2 and then come up.
Okay, but
Otherwise it runs up and up.
so what I really need is I need like Subdeacon Jacob, Subdeacon Nicholas, Subdeacon Charles, and Subdeacon Halbart helping you guys monitor that, okay? To make sure that the person who's doing the censer on that gets it in about at the appropriate time. Because otherwise it'll burn out too soon, or otherwise you have, you know, you don't get it fuming soon enough. And the one last thing too is also, so I don't forget this, if the priest is doing a great sensing where he has to go out like this, whoever has the censer, keep the eyes on the priest at all times. You shouldn't be doing the doors. You shouldn't have your head buried in the service. Your eyes are on the priest, because if you see he's starting to run out, he's run out of gas, you need to refuel him. You need to have some of, and what you need to have is what kind of pieces went in the thing to give to him as soon as he gets in here. Yeah, the powder. Ideally the powder, because it'll immediately start to do it. Because once again, the purpose is offering incense, it's not shaking the censer.
One at a time. every time you get the sensor back, after they use it, clean, scrape the charcoal.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it leaves a sediment, so the next time someone grabs it quickly, if you put the incense on
You got a crust.
charcoal, you get that crust, it doesn't burn, it
Yeah.
takes too long for it to
Yeah,
burn.
yeah.
And you give it like 5 minutes, and he's like halfway around the altar, and then it starts catching on.
Yeah,
So,
because usually for one Vespers, I think you're good with just one charcoal, right? But liturgy, you always got to have at least 2. And if it's some of these other services, you may have to do for more.
With Orthros, there's usually 2, 3, and maybe if there's a dressage first, 4.
For that type of Sunday with Orthros, right? Yeah, that's about right. About right.
One at a time. Father Nathan doesn't like a ton of incense. If you have some, keep a little bit away from him.
I don't like it, so.
No, he can't do it.
You can't do it, it's too much.
You guys, I need to have him. You gotta understand, you incapacitate him because you smoke him out, and he goes on me, then what happens is we're down an extra service, because especially now he's doing a lot of the prayers for me of St. Basil, and he's also doing half the communion. So, so
So
it's...
if you're holding it, don't hold it too close to him if you gotta load it up, just keep it back.
And also the other thing is when we're doing the processions for the little entrance, and just so you know this, welcome to the Orthodox Church. We're not an organized religion. We don't do everything the same way everywhere. So how we do it here might be similar to how they do it at the Cathedral in Los Angeles, because Father John Braun was schooled by people at the cathedral by your grandfather. And what happens is there's other differences of tradition. So for example, we do bring out the censer during the little entrance for the gospel. That's what we've always done here. That's what we've done at the cathedral, but in other places they may not. So here's the thing I ask you, when you go and serve at any other church, be respectful of their tradition. When in Rome, well, let's say, and in Constantinople, and in Jerusalem, and in Alexandria, Alexandria, Jerusalem, Constantinople, okay? Seriously. Don't try to voice your, because here's the neat thing, there is diversity of practice. The only thing that's kind of made things a little bit more common practice is sometimes the rubrics get set in a book and one book gets printed. But there was a lot of different typicons and a lot of different ways of doing it. And so there's a fluidity with that. So just remember how we do it here is fine. We want to be respectful of that, but don't push that when you're going to other places, okay? Especially because they may do things differently. They won't do that. They'll think you're crazy. Yeah.
Church, say, no incense.
Yeah. Most of the churches I know of.
So the other thing is, if you have the censer for like the great entrance, because we're chanting them, don't be like Archdeacon George or like, just swing a censer like this, it doesn't have to be loud. So when we're doing like the great entrance, do that. For two reasons. One, because it's not that super loud, so they can't hear it. But secondly, also because we're walking directly where you're swinging, so it's not like.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, when we get up here too, this is good because we'll pick up on a lot of things. Sometimes when we have the censer and it's brought, it's a little bit easier if the censer is kind of on the opposite side from where we are reading some of the prayers. But be mindful of the person who's reading the prayers, especially on the great entrance, because we're listing, we do something that's in the Antiochian tradition. We list the people who have been asked to pray for the living and departed. It's a long list. And if you're trying to say those, it's hard enough on the voice as it is. But if you have smoke wafting up, it can be a little bit hard. So be mindful of...
Because a lot of places I've seen, you literally just stand there with the censer. Is it yours here to swing a little bit while we're standing?
Some people do. And it's not necessarily bad. It's just that you got to be, please, once again, we're serving the altar, we're serving Christ, and the priest is the representative for Christ. And so be mindful of what he's doing. If you see the priest is trying to lubricate and he's starting to choke up, then, and some of you guys have done this already, you move the censer away or stop swinging as much, so because you're producing a fume that's going to, cause him to faint. So, okay, enough on the censer, or do we have more? Okay. Are we cool on handing off the censer? Yes.
Good. Outside, eagers, on Sunday.
Right.
Friday, cup.
Right. They'll load up with a cup of incense, and then they'll, on those processions that we do out there, Palm Sunday for Lamentations, and it's Pascha night.
Yes.
So we'll have a cup to be able to do that. We may also be looking at, we might be doing some of the services inside rather than outside and have an overflow. We'll see how that's going to work. Yeah.
Father, you missed the first part, but you have a different handoff than Father Nathan.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah. Well, I'll work on that with you guys.
One
Yeah.
last-
Yeah.
Keep it.
When you, who's ever handling a sensor, at the start of service, unwrap that aluminum foil, try to get 3 out. Because the worst thing to do is you're hearing all this aluminum foil being undone because you can't get the charcoal out from one for the second charcoal. Just get them undone beginning of the service so they're ready to grab.
Me, up here, 2, 3, here.
Oh, in terms of for the different sense, the different incense?
No, coal.
Coals. Oh. Yeah, I don't know if, I wouldn't want to put the charcoals up here. Leave them in the drawer.
Yeah.
It's better to leave them in the drawer. You know why? Because they get to be dirty.
Okay.
Because of the stuff all over the place. It's kind of hard. Okay, so normally we could talk about, I'm going to skip over some of the things with the lights, because I can work on Teams and be able to show you guys what to do on those, and also trimming and doing that with the candles, because we want to get actually into some actual physical movement, procession and formation, because that's important for some of the guys that are new here. Yes, so Deacon?
There's an observation from today, and I see it also during Sundays, that people tend to kind of walk too much around and do stuff. And there are certain times during the service that you technically should drop everything, not literally, but stop doing whatever and just stay and pay attention. So
Right.
it's during Our Father, during kind of the creed,
Yes.
and kind of during,
Oh, yeah.
especially kind of during when kind of doing the consecration of
Yes.
the holy gifts.
Right.
Not start preparing for a procession or something during those times. And if you're doing the bread, cutting the bread, come up to the edge of the kind of there and stand there and be part of the prayers there.
Right.
Then you can go back and do. But those times during the service, don't move around and prep for anything.
Yeah. So we talked about this before, and Subdeacon brought up a real good point. There is a pious tradition within the Orthodox Church. It's not widespread everywhere, but during the Orthros morning prayers, Matins prayers, when we do the 6 Psalms, there is a pious tradition of everybody being silent and staying where they are and not moving, okay, during that point. So you'll see Father Nathan and I, now if I'm at the altar doing the prayers, I have to do the prayers. I have to do the prayers. But otherwise, the rest of us can be just calm and quiet, because they make a reference of, these are the Psalms that the way it's interpreted, that will be said at our judgment. And so we're trying to be mindful of that and to listen to them and have them go through us. Okay, and so, but it's really, really critical. Any of the times we have those common, it is our pious tradition here at St. Anthony's. Not everybody does this, but it is our pious tradition that we don't move. In fact, the Metropolitans even told us when we do the Our Father, that if we're in the middle of sensing, we stop sensing where we are. We can try to get in a more central place. We're going out here like this and we're freezing, but so move to a normative place, but then just stop sensing. You'll see that happen in Orthros, right? I stop.
Yes.
Because the Metropolitan says it's one of our most important prayers, so we all want to be attentive in doing those prayers. You need to still some bodies. That's okay, go ahead. No, you need to go, please. You guys, hold on. You guys God bless you. Thank you for being here, and we'll work with you guys some more, okay? All right, thank you. And so we want to be mindful, especially for our Father, that they're not moving to that point, especially for the Creed. We shall all be saying the Creed together. And then at the consecration, which is really the high point, we really want to be mindful of doing that. Now, it's a different thing if Father Nathan and I really have a need, we've asked you, because generally we aren't moving during those times. You notice we even want to try to bring over some of the stuff. We even stop doing that because we're trying to be attentive to that corporate prayer together is so important. So just be mindful of that. And once again, having as least amount of movement as possible is really helpful, because it can be distracting. And not just for us, the clergy in the altar, it can be distracting for the people, because remember, we've designed the iconostasis so we can see through part of it. So we just don't want to be distracting people with that as well. So if there has to be some clarifications and discussions of what to do, it's always better to move it into the vestry if we have to, okay?
Yeah. Anytime you see instructions for altar servers, one of the big things they hit on is just staying in your place. And that's just, there's not a whole lot of movement needed, but there does seem to be a lot of movement going on. So just, whichever side you're put on, stay on that side. Yeah, and I mean, it's something where we have a tendency to kind of complicate things more than we need to. So figure out whether it's something that, I really need to walk over here and do this right now, or is it something that can just wait until after service? So that
Right.
kind of thing.
And at some key points, also be mindful where the clergy need to be. We're going to be bringing you in the altar we're going to bring you in just a second here. I have a few more questions. There's certain places when we're in certain formations, you have to make space for the clergy for certain things. Okay, so we're going to do that in just a minute. But were there any other questions that were? Yes, Kristen, you had one.
Just a quick thing about the censer, returning it after a great censer, any kind of censing people.
Right.
Want us to return the censer for a priest twice, or how
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, there's different tradition. There's a different tradition. What I usually do here, I really make you confused. I was taught you cense a bishop 3 times, a priest twice, a deacon once. But in reality, okay, but there is a tradition in the church where it's even in one of the book that you got for us, in which it says you cense the priest 3 times and the deacon twice and a subdeacon and a layperson once. So there's a difference of tradition. So I'm sorry I mixed it up. When Deacon Tom is here, I always cense him twice, and that bumps us priests up to 3. So keep on your toes. Sorry about that. I wish I could make life easier. But when the bishop's here, man, you just do him 3 times, the priest once, and twice, and a deacon once. Yeah, because he had to be appreciative if we bumped it. Although he is a presbyter first and foremost. There's times he can serve the liturgy. No, you're right. No, but because we've been ordained as a priest, yeah. So there's that aspect. So I'm sorry. That's where there's. Welcome to the Orthodox Church. There's that diversity of practice that's there. Yeah.
So we're not going to get offended
If you do it 3 times, I'm not going to slap you. If you do it twice, if you do it once, I'm not going to. I'm just happy you sense me because sometimes some people forget.
If you do
Right?
it 3 times, my wife might smack you.
It's like they say, in Orthodox, we never kiss once because that's what Judas did to Jesus. We kiss twice for the 2 natures. We kiss 3 times maybe for the Trinity. If you kiss 4 times, you have to go to the priest for confession. Okay? All right, okay. Any other questions on this before we have to go in? And see if we can-
Last thing, that's more kind of for the, say, the older part here, you guys that are standing on, say, the Christ side of inside the altar area.
Yes.
You guys have to all the time make sure that the microphone is coming out on the Solea when there is either the readings, the psalms, or whatnot, because it's when you are sitting at home, many times you can't hear anything when the microphone is not out.
Thank you.
And that should be kind of taken care of for those that are standing on the right side in the altar.
Right. And so if somebody's missing, we need to make sure that responsibility gets picked up by somebody. So it helps if that's discussed. Patrick?
Hand signal.
Oh, hand signals. Okay, we can work on that in just a second. There's some good hand signals developed. Any other questions on this before we move in? Okay, and as you guys know, so what we're doing is once the service starts, we don't want people coming and serving too late, like past the scriptures and the sermon. So, after that point, it's just probably best if the person stays in the pew. But unless there's something that's really happened, and I sometimes have to talk to the parents about some of that before, because I don't want kids being losing out because their parents can't get them into church. So if it keeps on happening, I can talk to the parents and see what I have to do with that. But otherwise, once the service starts, we're going to try to have this door unlocked and then the one to the vestry so that we can have people going out that way, coming in rather than coming in here, because we're trying to mitigate, not have so much movement coming in and out of these doors here, that they're only going to really be for the religious procession. So let's go ahead and come on into the altar at this point here. I'm going to give you a blessing for those with short sleeves. to come in this time, because normally we don't do that, okay? We don't normally have short sleeves coming to the altar. The bishop will give me a severe scolding if that's the case, okay? Go a little longer if you can. Is that okay? I don't. Okay, so as everyone knows, this is the no-fly zone. No-fly zone. Okay, okay, okay. Priest, bishop, priest, and deacon. Okay, but only if there's a purpose for them to be here. It's just not generally the passageway we're going here. Although, so this is normally. So that we just never come into this space. Now, some of you are like afraid to even step on the carpet, so you're trying to hand it here. It's okay if you're on the carpet. If you're on the carpet, doesn't mean you're going to be zapped. We don't touch the altar. The altar hasn't been consecrated yet, but once the altar gets consecrated, it can only be those people that are clergy that are going to be able to take anything off or put anything on.
Because he's specifically talking about giving hot water. Don't stand over here and kind of do this kind of thing. Walk up to him.
Yeah, yeah. If
Same with the bread. You guys are holding the bread like this, which means I kind of have to like walk around. So make sure you kind of come up like to here to hand the bread to
yeah, it's okay if you're on the carpet.
Side, yeah.
Just don't come in between. The no-fly zone is here. Okay, it kind of forms a thing that's
They're
here.
afraid to walk on the carpet.
No, the carpet's not going to hurt. It's just to be careful. Don't trip on the carpet. That's the key.
If your feet do start burning.
Okay. So once again, we don't take anything on or put off the altar unless we give you the blessing to do so. If the church is on fire, I'm going to bless all of you to grab whatever you can. Okay, that's a different story. But normally we don't put anything on, we don't take anything off. That's what the priests are supposed to be able to do. And so even Siadna gets frustrated, and he even wants to make sure we're doing that, not even having the deacons do that. If you're going to mention.
Sometimes oil becomes less.
Then I have to clean it. That's why when it comes, we'll do a whole thing on doing these lamps. That's why I really can't have you lifting
No,
them.
you know what? Can I tell you where the oil's from? Is that bottle leaks.
Right,
The bottle you pour
right.
leaks. It's not
That's
from
why.
that.
That's why you
Leaks.
have to have
Put your
a
hand underneath.
well, or you have to have a cloth with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will work on that. That's
It's
a
a
separate.
cloth.
That's a separate training we'll do. So don't worry about that. We just want to get something for processions. One of the key things that we're also trying to make sure we get you do is that at one point in the liturgy, when we're doing the Holy God, Holy Mighty, Holy Immortal, we're going to be. And Father Nathan has got a sore knee right now, so he needs to sit this out as much as possible. I know you guys that are holding the candles, right? This is the high place. So ideally, there is a formation in which you guys are temporarily here, holding the cross, and that's fine for a short period of time. Normally, we never stand here because this is where the bishop's going to be. This is Jesus' throne. This is the ready throne for Jesus to come back and rule for us, and so only the bishop takes that spot. So Father Nathan and I get the clergy chairs that on either side here, so that when we end up having the Holy God, Holy Mighty, Holy Immortal, and you guys have the candles for the epistle, before to go out for the epistle and also for the gospel, then if you guys can stand maybe a little bit more over here, just flanking a little bit here, because we need to get to be here, because this is our normal spot. There's differences in traditions and how they do that.
Tom is here.
Yes.
I mean, they're going to have to be.
Yeah, Deacon Tom will be over here. If we have another deacon, the deacon will be over, because Father Nathan will be here and the other deacon will be here. So that's why it doesn't hurt if you guys are here. See what I'm saying? You guys are standing here. So that way that just helps us if you move over to this side here, okay? That way we have ability to move back and forth. When you see Sienna Joseph or us as priest here at the high place, never transit. We don't transit in front of the bishop, okay? You don't in front of the priest when we're here at the high place. You wait. You wait.
You know what? And that's the same thing. You're never to come between the priest or the bishop and the altar. So, I mean, the very first time I served as a deacon at St. Tikhon's, which is a Russian seminary, I was on that side because there was only one. And I was serving this crusty old Russian monk, and I'm standing like this before the service, and he goes, "Why are you standing so close to the altar?" And he was making a very good point, is that this is a holy, holy place. We don't come into the altar for anything except for services and stuff like this. We don't I don't know if you noticed, we don't walk through here. If I have to
Right.
be where you guys are,
Right,
Father John and I, who are
Right.
allowed to be here,
right.
walk all the way around. And so same thing, you know, when you're handing us something, yeah, be close, otherwise stand off a little bit, you know, and recognize the holiness of the altar and, you know, have a little reverence and stand back.
Because the question that Subdeacon Anthony said was a good one. It's just that usually when we're here in formation, we're in formation, by the way. We're at the high place. We're flanking Christ, or if the bishop's here, we're definitely going to be here with the bishop, okay? Who is the icon of Christ to us in that sense. And we're his substitute when the bishop's not here. There's just generally not anything else that's going on that needs to happen. So we just want to be mindful of that. That's all.
And that's my whole point with that story. But basically, don't be standing here or whatever so that we have to squeeze by you or go around, because you're not supposed to be between us and the altar. So yeah, make sure you're back.
And then the other thing is also when we're having any sensing movement come in by a deacon or priest that is coming in this way here, so we want to make sure that you give them the straightest passageway to get to here. So something means if we have people here, it might mean that we step back here and allow him to be able to come in through here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so what we need to work on, we're going to deal with candles and some of that stuff a little bit later, but maybe we can work on terms of, subdeacons, you can help us with what our tradition is here when we form them up for little entrances and for great
A
entrances.
little entrance is around, because every Sunday, the guy on this side here, holding the candle, is always late, because he's waiting for the cross to go, and you have to walk in front of the cross. So, who's ever standing here every Sunday, the guy holding the altar boy is always, he's never done that.
Okay, can you three subdeacons then show us what you want us to do with that? So each of you get one of you calendar, and one get the cross. Okay, so Anthony, you get the cross then. And guys, just stay here and watch them for what they're going to do. Subdeacon Charles will show you what we're going to do.
Also, if it is Sunday, it's resurrection.
Out. Any other day?
Sunday, any other day, we put that side.
The whole 40 days of Pascha, we do
Oh, yeah,
keep it. Yeah.
Look at the Bible, you will know. If you
Unless Father forgot to flip the.
Okay, someone grab the censor. Justin, grab the censor.
But the thing about the cross, if the gospel has the binder on this side, the cross, the crucifixion is over the cross. If it's the way it is now, it's on the resurrection
Well, you
side.
can
But we do forget sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't see the picture. You can't see the picture.
You're right. Okay, so Charles, show us
So
what
what
you're.
happens is, on the little entrance, the minute, altar boys, the minute you see the or who's ever holding the censer, the boy standing on the left-hand side, you have to get in front of the cross. You
Right.
can't let him start and then there's a.
Because what we're doing, okay, so let's do this. Let's do this is, say I'm getting the gospel. I'm not going to take the gospel. I'm going to take this place of the
As soon
gospel.
as the priest picks up the
So
gospel,
when,
hand over here.
right, and you can tell because I'm going to do that because what does it show you guys? What's the clue that shows you guys that I'm starting to make a movement in the procession? Yes.
You're rocking the
Yeah, and I'm making him a tiny. So I'm doing a reverence to get ready because I'm gonna touch some of the holy things. So I'm asking God for mercy. Okay, so when I do this and go this point here, see, look what he does. So he goes these two, and then we form out and go out. Okay, so let's try it one more time so they can see it, and then we're gonna have you guys actually do it. Okay, if you don't mind. Okay, I keep tripping over this for now. Well, I'm gonna move this out. I almost tripped on this one. There's a time to do a prostration, but this is not the time to do it. Okay, so if I'm doing, well, okay.
Father John picks up the Bible.
Right.
Okay, the candle moves, and then both candles come over. Don't try and squeeze through the door together. One at a time. And then.
Okay, look at the formation here,
And
guys. So,
then you come out, you spread, okay?
show them what to do, though. Show them what to do. Show them what to do.
The first guy out goes to Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, first guy goes to Christ, and then Do you guys put Justin on that side, the censor on that side? Is that what you normally do? Okay, all right.
By the way, this,
Can you guys see inside?
the censer always belongs on Christ's side. If you can, our archdiocese does it. If you serve with the metropolitan,
Yeah.
first of all, in the cathedral, so he stands always on the right side.
Okay, and so when I end up going in, can everyone come out and see this? I want to make sure everyone gets out to see this. So this is the little entrance. We're showing you how to do the little entrance. We're going to have each one of you walk through it. A lot of you guys have already done this, so that's not a problem. But we just want to make sure we do it all together, and we're just making sure that we're doing it according to what the practice here is in this parish. So when we end up saying Wisdom of those hymns and sing the entrance hymn, and I end up going in, and I'm already in, then notice what these guys do. Censors? Okay.
Wrong door.
Christ said,
Sorry about that. Yes.
Everything?
Yeah, we can do that way. Yeah, that's fine.
so look, so,
Oh, by the way, let me just tell you something. Here's where there's also diversity of tradition in the Orthodox Church and even in our archdiocese. You will have some people who say absolutely all the motion going in here goes in this door, all the motion coming out comes out this door. But once again, sorry, there's not a consistency in this. A lot of people will do it that if it's the candle goes in this side here, they'll come together and then they'll go inside that way because it's a little bit more efficient in moving people in and putting things away. So generally most of the processions, you're going to have the clergy coming out here and then going in. But for the altar servers, you may see it different. And so our practice here in this parish is for the candles to come and bow and then to go in the respective door, right?
Yeah.
Is that what we've done?
the cathedral will go there.
But everything else goes into the Christ door, the Christ side door. The center, the cross, if there's a hand on this side, I'll go.
Yes,
For
yes.
example, Father,
Yes.
there's an icon on that side.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, we're just doing the little entrance right now. We'll just do the little entrance right now, so we make sure we understand. Is that what you?
Well, that's it.
But is that what we've done here?
Yes.
Okay, that's what we've done.
I
Okay.
told you, that got changed.
Yeah, it's
It got changed here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I was here.
Everybody goes, yeah, it was always going this way. And then this got changed, recently,
No, one door.
Because the bishop will yell at you.
Oh.
No, the bishop, I'm telling you, the bishop, if you, the cathedral bishop, you always gotta go this way.
I think we should go in that way because the minute somebody goes in the other door with the bishop, if it sits next time, he'll tell you not to. That's-
Okay, well, listen, I don't have a problem if we all go in this way here. I'm just saying, I know in other churches I've seen different ways. And I think one of the reasons, remember, when we were at Torrey Pines, we didn't have two of the deacon's doors.
Yeah, that's why it got changed.
So when we came here, it might have been the other thing, but then I don't have a problem if we move it back to that point where we're doing it. Do we remember what it says in the book? Should we grab that and see what it says in the book? The Archdiocese? Yeah, can you grab that and see?
Same door.
Okay, all right, so if you're bowing here, then you bow here and do it. So let's do this one more time, to show, then everybody go through this door and see what it's like,
Forgive me,
okay?
because why, if both fans are going that way. then-
Yeah.
Then,
Oh, no, then everything should go.
From the great epistles, the fans are splitting and going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And when you read the gospel, the
it's easy to make it what it is.
That's good.
But I know if you served if you served at a family parish conference.
right. No, I know, yeah.
That's, I mean, it's your call, obviously, but what
You
they're
get-
teaching and like the altar boy things and that kind of thing is that entrances is different. Like what Sadiq over there is saying, it's a difference. It's an entrance, it's a movement from here to there.
Right.
And then at the readings, you can come out through
Right.
both sides.
Right.
But that,
So
when Khabib teaches and stuff, he teaches, for the archdiocese, he teaches that great entrances
And the little entrance.
and little entrance, everybody goes.
There goes, you come out this way and go in
Yeah,
this
he
way.
teaches the-
So when the epistles go for doing that, it's like what we do when we do for the epistle readings for Holy Week. We have people come out on both sides, but we're out here already. for some of them.
Oh, by the
Okay.
way,
That's not an entrance.
while Father brought that up.
That's not an entrance,
well,
yeah.
If there's a reading, if the reader's standing here, the candles are there. The candles aren't,
Yeah.
candles are there.
Yes, yeah, the candles are meant to illumine the person who's reading, so they now take on a symbolic form, except for some of the services where we actually have them darkened, we actually have to use them for lighting. So here's the thing, so if you think about it, we end up having, that's one way of doing it. So so we want to make sure the candles are close to where it's going to be. It's epistle out by the epistle reader, then they move over to here.
Move back here
Okay,
for the
so
gospel.
then let's keep consistent with what they're doing in the archdiocese and the diocese, that for all of our entrances, great little entrance and great entrance, we come out here and then we go into there. Yeah.
When you're doing the epistle, are we next to the body or are we next to the reading part that we're reading? Because if they're standing here, am I supposed to be here or next to?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. You want to be close to the person who's reading, but if it's so dark and we're not using these but actual candles, then you want to move the candles a little closer in. We've had to do that here because we still don't have the lighting put into here yet, that when you come up here for the gospel reading, sometimes you're going to be right on either side of us. So we can-
And be prepared for us to move you a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably move your candle a little bit. If
Yeah.
you have it too close to my face, you're just.
Yeah, blinding. Okay, so let's do this one more time, and that way we'll come. Somebody can, Nicholas, and then who had the problem? All right, so let's do this one more time. Let's do how you would be bowing to come in. Okay, we gotta go in and then go this way. All right, and then you guys are going here because I'm in already. Okay. All right. So,
Another question,
okay.
Father.
Yay.
Father, when you stand out here, some hole on the ground, something.
Okay, that's a good question.
Yay.
Okay, so we're going to do this one more time. Let's do this one more time so they can see us. Okay, okay, guys. Stephanie and Anthony, we're doing this one more time so they can see it because we've got a couple more questions that have been asked.
This part, I think.
So, it's a little crossword, right?
Yes, but you came out.
Michael, reader, Christian, come on in.
Yeah.
So on Vespers, let's finish this for sure. On Vespers, when we do the, go out for the last light. We go out before God's light.
The little entrance.
The little entrance. So what happens is, this is what we have to work with. It depends who's singing back there. Because, I want to ask you, do you want them to line up here and wait 5 minutes? Or do you want to time it, because when you start looking at the Vesper, the Vesper, when it comes to the last one,
Oh, the Exhausticon.
it depends who's singing. If it's Chris, it's a while before we do it. If it's last, no, that's okay. God bless him, because I let him do it. Because the guys are here for like a long time and nothing's happening. So I don't know if that's what you want. Or like last time, the choir sang that does not.
Okay.
That's Oxytocin, and they happened like in 3 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Right, we weren't ready.
they weren't ready.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's good.
Okay. So here's what we have to do, and that's why it helps to look at the service ahead of time if you can, to go look it quickly through, especially those people who are doing certain things like the candles and the cross. Okay, because there are some of our services where we have at that, "O Lord, I call," the set of hymns, and then there's a glory hymn which we call a doxosticon. Okay, glory to the Father. Okay, and then there's also after that there may be a Theotokion. It's the hymn to the Theotokos. Sometimes they don't have a Theotokion. Sometimes it's a glory both now hymn. It's just a doxosticon. And so there isn't, so we have to look ahead and be ready. Now I usually, if I'm on my game, I'll look ahead of it and I'll let you guys know little entrance. I will tell you little entrance. Now, I shouldn't have to do that after a while because you should be trained enough. You looked ahead of time, you know what you expect coming up. But it also helps if the main celebrant can also give a little bit of heads up for that as well too. And then it's just like if you notice, we used to be going out there when we did the Beatitudes, we would go out at the very beginning of the Beatitudes and we'd be standing there with the gospel all that time waiting. And then we realized, okay, doesn't make sense to be out here waiting all this time. So we go at a certain point that gives us enough time to do the procession, to be out there and finish up when they're finishing up with the Beatitudes. Same way with the hymns. So that's why you might want to be...
Vespers before you do that? You guys never do the same times twice when you want to ask for your, it's the best. Yeah, it's never so. But I think maybe you're judging it, because we're always looking, okay, when they want this time, don't want this time. Well, just be ready to be prepared.
Right.
And not prepared.
Right.
So it's just, it's whatever you ask for.
Yeah, well, we'll try to give that discernment enough to you to look at, for example, if it's in common chant, and it's going to be the Russian chant, it's going to go a lot faster. Because the glory hymn in the Byzantine tradition is always a slow melody. Okay, and that one is also a slow melody. It's only at the end of Vespers that changes. Okay, that's also at the end of Othros. The glory hymn at the end of Othros before the doxology is always a slow hymn. Unless, of course, the choir is doing a common chant, then it'll go faster. So what we'll try to do for Vespers is give you enough of a clue to be able to help you, but it's good if you're prepared. Question?
Well, I just felt, Father, that the language you're using is not familiar to ex-Protestant converts. We
Right.
just don't even know what those words mean.
Right.
Just use.
Yeah. Well,
Common chant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, no, common chant is the Russian chant in which they do the four part, which goes da 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 da. It moves a lot faster. So, yeah, so for example, right here. See, it's appointed here, that's common chant because it shows you, it's tone 6, and like, the resurrection of Christ our Savior, so what happens, so if you see it like this, where they have marked it with that means that it's going to be the Russian chant, it's going to be a little bit faster. If it's marked and divided like this, that's going to be in the Byzantine, so it's going to be a little bit longer.
There was a button on the altar that you could push that says, now. That's all.
Well, that's why we're trying to be attentive if we can, yeah. Let's go. Go. Thank you. Go. Thank you. No, we're doing well. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Okay, so let's do this one more time with this, and we're going to have you guys, the rest of the team that remains, we're going to have you actually practice it. Okay, let's do it. Okay.
Here, get another, get something else over there.
Not anymore. Sorry. You just... Okay. All right. So once again, if I'm going like this here, all right, that means we're getting ready to go. So when we start doing it,
No, it's exactly what happened here.
okay.
Okay, do it again. Whenever, Chris, you don't go. So,
When you see me start going like this for a little entrance, then okay. And I pick up the gospel book.
go. You gotta go already.
There you go. There you go. Okay. And let's go into our actual positions.
Cleaning those candles, we put them out.
No, Catherine's cleaning all the wax on your vessel.
Well, we got to get different candles.
Seriously.
Those aren't good candles. There. Okay. And so when we end up doing it here, and then we end up blessing the entrance, and I end up going in here. I've gone inside. We also have a question on the pools. Okay. Once I do that, Justin, you make your move. Okay. Chris. Okay. And you guys come together, and then remember we're going this way now. We're going this way. Okay, very
Can I
good.
have something?
Yeah.
The crossing, trying to cross yourself while they're holding the candle, often.
Yeah, you guys, you know what? You don't need to. You can bow. Here's the thing I'm saying. There's times when it's okay if we don't make the sign of the cross, because when you bow, you're substituting that. You notice sometimes if I go in the back of the altar and I'm carrying something, I may bow and I go in between the altar and the throne, the high place, is because I can't stop and make the sign of the cross because I'll drop whatever I'm holding. So it's okay. You guys are holding this. You don't want to drop it. And so as a result, you want to make sure that if you just do a bow, you're fine. You're fine. Especially with these things, because they're problematic. And also there was a question here. Father Nathan, help us on this one. Guys, you come here, Noah. And then Bashada, come here. Okay, so here's the question. So here we want to have some uniformity too. What do these guys do with the candles, do they hold them up, do they put them down? Patrick? You want to put down, okay, so they should be putting them down. Okay, yeah, because, because here's the thing, if you're holding it down, look at how stable it is. If you're holding it up here, it can be shifting around, and plus it's hard to do. But the thing is, but this is really important, guys. You want to hold onto it like this, you don't put your weight onto it, you don't lean on it. Because this is metal on a stone floor, which can, well, I guess it's wood now, isn't it? I thought there was metal there. Okay, anyway, forgive me, I thought it was metal. It's in the inside part. So you just don't want to have it slip on you and then you okay?
One other comment. So who's ever coordinating the altar boys at Guadalupe, when you have brand new candles in, you probably have about a ½ inch of melted wax on top. So what's happening when that happens, I mean, you got Catherine's, I don't know how many, just wax over the
Okay,
altar boy's shoulders.
but I do have an easy solution for that. We do not need to be lighting the candles when we first come into the service, because we're not using them until way, way, way late. We're burning the candles unnecessarily for those. We don't need to. They should be lit at a timely point where we're not running to try to get them lit and then trying to get them out.
Sometimes we forget, Father, that's why.
I'm just telling you, it's way too early, because you're creating a whole pool. This is not a smart thing to be moving. Can I tell you this? I have to go on and find some better ones than these. This we need to replace. This came from an old set of stuff that we had. It's just not really the best thing. And I have to talk to some of you guys, because there's some that I can buy that has just the straight candles that go up. And some of them are really cheaply, chintzy made, and it's hard to have a look at them. We don't have a discussion about this necessarily now.
Can they be oil?
No. Oh, no, because we'll make even more of a mess. But it's just that these, yeah, I mean, we had one forgive me for, I shouldn't tell you this, but we had one at Holy Cross. They're actually beautiful. They're stainless steel. They were sculpted really, really nice. They were spring-loaded. Spring-loaded. I don't know who in their right mind did that, so that you would screw the candle end into it, and then you would push it down in, and then twist it a little bit. Yeah. So, but what happened? One of this guys, Dimitri, he had a full beard. He was standing there one of the times when I was serving as during Vespers at Holy Cross, and the interest, and that thing let go. And it's amazing. It went right up in front of him. I was going to set his beard on fire. So I have to be careful with the new ones I end up buying. But so maybe if we can try to see if we like them. Not
Well, just monitor, we just have to monitor this.
No, I know.
Pour out.
No, it makes so much of a mess. It's hard, right? You're right. But I just think if we just light them, for example, Othros, when we need them. You don't need them until you have a good half an hour in the courthouse. Yeah, right. So we've got plenty of time to light them.
Father, there is the handheld candles, the small one that we use.
And we use those sometime as well too. But I'm just saying, we can still use these, but I want to get some nice ones replaced. But I'll be honest with you, I've been able to find some nice stuff for the altar appointments. I just had a hard time finding the place I wanted to buy it from. They went out of business. Yeah.
St. Catherine's up in Carlsbad, they use sort of the longer, it's a mix between that and the handheld ones, maybe one of the ones and some of
Well, that's like, they have some of the really nice looking that I want to see if we can get to do, but I want to show what the spring loaded.
So we have an issue with the fans and a little bit the cross. They're very loose on the sticks. And maybe we can do something with that.
We need to have a,
Because they've fallen off.
okay, we need, yeah, I think we need to have a cleaning day before we leave here. We're going to appoint a cleaning day for getting ready for Holy Week class. And then maybe there can be a maintenance on figuring that out. Also, plus the fans, we did put the fans on both sticks. Remember, we had them lower, but those fans could be cut. So there's some maintenance that we could do.
The banners are too high.
That's what I'm saying. The
banners hit this.
The banners need to be cut, so we need to have some people, tools to do that, and also to screw those things in.
Well, I have it.
Saturday.
Well, we'll work on that in just a second. That's one thing we'll try
Lines
to
of the bench.
do. Okay, any questions?
That's about kind of when we're going back in.
There's a lot of churches are much bigger.
Okay.
Because sometimes those that are standing here with the cross and the candles kind of just seems to be hanging out the whole procession. Kind of the clergy has gone through the high doors, kind of, or the royal doors, and eventually the subdeacon with the censer has gone in, and then kind of the cross and the altar, kind of the candles are just standing there, kind of like. So we should have a floor there, so as soon as kind of eventually the subdeacon with the censer have kind of
When he does it, then
gone
it's,
and gone in, and then the cross of
Yes.
Christ comes and bounds, and
Yes.
then the two candles comes and bounds, and those.
yeah.
So and that was the point that I was gonna make, is you're actually working when you're out here.
Yeah.
So stand there, kind of pay attention to what's happening, don't be doing the.
Don't be waiting for your family.
Yeah, just pay attention to what's happening. And then, yeah, like you said, as soon as you see them start to go in.
Okay. I don't want to comment about the pay attention thing, but what I was talking about working on is that because you have a change, you have a tendency while you're behind an altar just to drift. You start thinking about school, the work, the job, this, that, whatever. So you lose track. What helps me stay on point is that whenever the serving priest makes a cross, you make a cross. Why is that? First of all, it's a good thing too, but also it's making you attentive. If you're constantly watching when the priest,
Right.
that means you're watching the whole sermon, what's going on. You're not drifting anywhere. You're forced to make sure to watch what's happening in the service.
And then we
That's
pay
why-
attention in case the priest also needs
Needs
something.
something.
But also be mindful that we are working. So let's go in as we would go in, and then we're gonna have practice with another group of some of our people here at the university. Yes.
I sometimes follow people, but they do,
Right.
so like get off.
Right, that helps.
So
Okay.
go wait, Justin, we want them to go in right after you, so have you come to the center and.
Who had the cross?
This is the cross. Or the cross? I'm not gonna start. The cross.
Oh, okay.
Or who had the cross though?
Chris.
Chris. No, Chris, come here. Pretend you have the cross.
Just pretend you have it. Just pretend.
We're gonna do another practice. okay?
Just have a cross.
So I'm down here, so I'm going in, and we've done the entrance, and we're singing the.
Doors, 1, 2.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Justin, we're foreshadowing something.
That's good.
Okay, so let's, you wanna try, were we okay? We're gonna try with another group.
But if you look at the censer too carefully, then you get.
You go back.
You call.
You realize he's
Well, we're gonna do a great entrance procession, but if you need to go, you got in what you got.
It's going to be recorded, right?
Yeah, we're so recording. Oh, we have to bless those. Are you gonna be here tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bless them afterwards and then we'll have words. It'll be on our St. Anthony's YouTube site. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so we got some different people to do great entrance.
Let's get some of the guys, like Mike and Chris grew up doing this, so let's get some of the other people.
Bill, do you remember?
Who do you want? Wait, don't you want Micah doing? Oh, Micah has that. I see what you're saying. So Micah knows what he's doing. That's what you're saying. And Chris, okay, Gabriel does not. Okay, so Chris is having to take off, so Bill. Okay, so we were doing great. Are you? Father Nathan. We're going to do another little entrance, right? With these guys. Okay, this is another little entrance. And then we're going to do great entrance. Another little entrance.
Does ever hold the cross?
We're fine.
Remember? We don't until his count was first.
So this is another little entrance, like we're doing for Vespers, like we're doing for liturgy. Okay, so I'm going to pick up the gospel. In this case, it's going to be liturgy. All right. Primatanias, kiss the thing in the altar, pick it up, then yeah. When you get to the door, you have to go back. Maybe don't you fall like this? Yeah, really. Okay, so then blessing the entrance, they're singing the hymn, I end up going in. Okay, once I'm inside there. Okay, good. 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 Okay, good. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, shall we shift it to great entrance then?
Yes.
Yeah, shift it to great entrance, guys. Okay, go ahead and put your stuff back where they need to go. Thank you for your patience with us, appreciate this. Okay, so let me have your entrance, your attention. There's two of the types of great entrances that we will do. There's the one for Vespers when we're doing with an icon that goes out and around. Okay, so we're going to practice that one first, and then we're going to do for the great entrance we do for the Divine Liturgy. Okay, so they're slightly a little bit different. Okay, and so we have a lot more moving pieces that can be able to move for that. So let's go ahead and let's have the people who've done those before maybe be the ones to walk through it for this first time. I've got a flat land. Yeah, I'm going to grab an icon. I've got plenty of icons here. If we have a feast, we have a festal icon. I'm going to take this one. This is a beautiful one. I don't know who gave me this today.
You? Mike? Yeah.
Okay. It's
Here's how I'll go.
okay, so this is going to be the one, just so that you guys know.
This is for.
This is going to be a great entrance for Vespers, where we do the procession, where we go out. We go out, guys, let me have your attention. We go out, down the side, right side aisle, come down the center aisle. And then as you come down the center aisle, you guys will peel off and go into formation. Oops, something we need to do here, just move those chairs. Just close the bishops from out of the way. So we'll move, you'll get information on any side, on either side here of the Soleil steps and the royal doors. And then the person who has the censer, if there's clergy, there's two people, one person with the censer, one with the icon, who will always go around.
3 times.
Okay, 3 times, okay? So, and this is usually done towards the end of Vespers. It's something called the Apostica hymns. Those hymns are, Apostica, I don't know what you'd call the Apostica, getting towards the end of Vesper hymns. Yes, okay. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
he picked the icon, yes, perfect.
So we don't stop, right?
You guys watch.
Guys, watch out for this corner here, okay? And this carpet will not be in the aisleways. We don't want to get that. The cross there has to be mindful that it's stands of the seat where there's things over the wall. He heads far here, and that's what we're going to trim those fingers. Here's the beauty of those. Okay, when we get to this spot, you guys know to do a lot of these to the side. So that means just the censer and the person with the icon goes around here 3 times. And these guys know, as the fans, they wait there. Charles? Can you pick up? So we go around 3 times. Does anybody know why we go 3 times?
We do everything.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. This used to be a longer procession outside. So we make it longer here by going this 3 times. Okay, so we are placing it now. Here's what I have to ask you guys' opinion here. Father Nathan, where are you?
Father Nathan?
Yeah.
Father Nathan?
Okay. So the tradition is the priest senses 3 sets of 3s, and then he venerates the icon. And then in the past, the other clergy who's been out here have at least come and being able to venerate it. Now, It's a little bit hard for you guys because you guys have things in your hands that you're helping to hold with. So, but it is the tradition for the people who've been involved in the procession for them to come and venerate the icon at that time.
You switch off.
That's the most confusing for us though, is
Right.
who's going where.
Yeah, so what usually would happen is we would kind of take it in order of who came. I mean, we do, sorry, it is supposed to be the provost venerates first, then move down the pecking order in terms of priests, deacons, subdeacons. All right, and then after that, it would be the altar servers in terms of, it kind of makes sense if he goes here because he's by himself to be able to do that. Okay, and then, you go ahead.
Crosses or cameras on the ground while we're doing this?
Yes, no, it's on the ground. So let's just have it while he's putting it on the ground. Okay, then
So the children will be across.
No, when you're done venerating, make your bottom for the altar.
Oh, he need to.
No, he doesn't need to go before.
Well, I was gonna say,
Oh, and let's go.
I can hold this thing, and he goes.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
he comes
that's
in,
nice.
and then when he's done, he can go over there, you know, kind of like that. But, so that,
The trouble is, we don't have a repeatable sequence because it's
yeah,
different.
so
people
let's,
every time.
maybe it's like hold, or I go, he will like cross, handle, he goes over, hold, and.
We're not gonna have to go through the whole damn thing.
Father Nathan?
I don't think-
Father.
Water, big,
Hang on a
You
second.
might be-
Well, why can't, after you venerate, just go in? I don't understand.
Generally, what happens, generally the trouble is I'm not usually involved in terms of, I don't know, I remember because I've been watching what everybody's doing here. So that's why we need to establish it so we know what we're doing here. Once you, if you've been able to do that, venerate, you usually take your item and be able to go. Yes.
Okay.
Just go ahead.
He says, hey, and then you can, actually, you can hold it with this hand.
Yeah.
No. Well, try.
And actually, you can do it two at a time.
What you can do is you can do on the.
Probably it's not suggesting the times.
No,
Yeah, I mean, the times be too shaky, so.
Yeah, and that's fine, you just do balance, that's fine. Because you have to remind all the things you're holding. It's kind of like, remember St. Mary of Egypt, when she's saying, Father Zosimus, the kiss. When you say Justin and Stephen,
Well, then you
those
handle.
candles, okay?
No, then you just go, yeah, and then you go.
Well, we're having a practice where we're still going in here, right?
Yeah.
Bring
Yes,
the
yes. That's great.
stands over here.
So I will just go right now.
Sorry.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, he just said that hole in this thing.
Right.
Because they're right there, just
And just go. And just go. Okay. Anyone else need to do one of those? No. Yeah.
So you could actually use
Doing one.
those for
One more.
hands.
What's that?
This should be out here.
This is the same. But wait, did you say there's one more thing, like, another procession?
No, we're gonna do one more great entrance for liturgy.
How does the band get,
I'll be here with you.
All right, thank you.
how does the band get trained?
I think it, yeah. Okay, so. Right. Okay, so do we need to do this again? Or are we okay with this?
Okay.
Okay, we're okay. Okay, now let's do a great entrance for liturgy. This is going to be a little bit different because we have the fans and the banners as well too. Okay.
Right back and two cards. You two. No, see.
Oh, that's a question. That little cross, where do you want the little cross to be? Where the person who was a little cross?
Little cross should be coming after us as clergy.
After the-
After us as clergy. Before the fans.
Yes. Turn around, turn around. There you go.
Now, what's going to happen with this one here, what you're going to have to do you guys are gonna need to move here, because this is a little entrance for the liturgy, and this is gonna be a really jammed spot. Because what's gonna happen is we have two priests at this point, when the bishop's here, it's gonna be emergency. St. Joseph wanted us to have, he was not happy with my right-sided prophecies table. So we got him a left-sided prophecies table, which is the proper place for it. But it does crowd our space a little here. So we only have two priests here. But when St. Joseph, he'll be here, and we'll just kind of be squeezing in and be able to do what we need to do. But normally what we end up doing is Father will be here, and then maybe so Deacon, Father, are you calling for us?
No, I'm just doing stuff.
Well, that's fine. Can you come in and place the Father Nathan so we can see a little bit of idea of what we're doing here? So what we usually end up doing is having you get to be deacon for the day. So because what we'll end up doing is we have to have access to the censer, okay, to be able to sense the gifts and do what we need to do. And then, of course, there's the sensing with the veil that's put on the deacon. So the deacon is going always before me, and the path is
Grade 8.
just a second, I'm just trying to let them know. And Chris, you're not going to be in this at all? I guess we got everybody covered, huh?
Christian.
No, I'm sorry, Christian, sorry. I just made two Chris's. Okay, it's fine. Once you do the small cross. Oh, you're doing the small cross. Okay, we'll do the small cross. We'll do the small cross. Okay, so what we're doing with this one, once you see that we're at the point of picking up the gifts, you guys can begin going out there, right? All right? Okay?
Candle's still way over there.
When
we're here,
Can you come out?
good question. When we're here sensing the gifts, and that candle needs to move over here.
Well, Father, before you guys move over there, everybody should be coming over.
Actually, yes.
So they shouldn't be out there. Everybody will be all the way over here, lined up, not outside, just lined up and ready to go. And then the Father picks up the gifts, and then everybody starts moving.
What is best, because this annoys me, but if I'm the only one annoyed by that, I'm fine with that. But the fan and the banner there, to me it's a distraction that they are walking over to this side and to line.
Just stay there.
To me, I prefer them to just sit standing outside.
Excellent point, Matt.
Yeah. No, they don't need to do that.
Because that's going to be traffic way too much. Clergy coming that way.
For example, just to let you know, we're told on the rubrics that for the clergy that are on this side of the altar, when there's some movement to go out like this processions, we do not go in front of the altar and out and around. We pick up the procession on this side. Same thing with the people that are over here. They don't need to go all the way over there to cross that way. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, no, it's fine. Well, that's what we're doing this game.
Once we're outside, we're going to be sending wait for the procession,
Right.
for you and the deacons.
Right.
You and I, and then we follow.
But Stephen, you would have to be way back, because you've got those pointy ends on the banner.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
The
good.
shower is now going, the shower is going.
You guys are standing there.
Okay. We're gonna do this just once. We're ready to go. Okay. Who's got the sensor?
I have it first.
Okay, Okay, this will be the last thing we do.
Okay, so candles move.
You're doing great entrance, remember, for liturgy.
The doctor for finance.
Which side am I on, left or right?
The rest.
The person there, when they're around the corner, you want to keep us on the right.
Watch the ceiling.
Like right there, right?
You guys go a little faster.
Do you normally walk that fast?
No.
No, I told them to go a little faster because they were going as slow as molasses.
But sometimes we are walking too slow because several times my shoes have walked off by the something with the sensor.
And also when we're doing some of these processions, guys, watch where the clergy are, watch where the priests and the deacons are, because don't take off the balance, okay? Now, because we have a tight space here, sometimes the deacon will be going to there, it may not give me enough space here, okay? And I can move here. Barger? Yes.
Bag, tip.
Okay, all right.
Where start with that? That was some of the teams some years back, that somebody started to tilt them. We never did that at Torrey Pines or out here. So that's tilting of the fans like that, and then suddenly some of the
There is a
teams.
No, there is a tradition. See, the thing is, just to let you know, I mean, there are different traditions. In the Russian tradition, especially, they will tilt it. There are some places where they actually ban bands. Don't do that. Don't ban them from bands. I mean that they're going to come off and plug somebody in the head. All right, but I'm just saying, the reason why they tilted is it's a sign of reverence. So that's why people have done it before. There's nothing wrong with it. But literally, here's the deepest. I mean, literally what I've seen them do in Cyprus where they do not have air conditioning and they're literally fanning. They're not quite as big as these. They're literally fanning them right now. I'm not saying, please, we're not going to be fanning here, but yes, Patrick.
Old guys. Dear bags.
Right. Yeah. Oh, the old cousin. But what? Okay. What?
You don't want to tilt it.
No, tilting is. I don't. What are we going to do? We want to be consistent.
I looked at a lot of videos of liturgies, and almost all of them, they had
Yes.
it leaning in. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily
No,
canon.
no. I mean, it is, well, once again, because that is,
It's reverence.
it's actually, it is an attitude of putting in position as if we were going to fan with them, which is the purpose. Fan number one, of course you keep the flies out there, so keeping the cell looks cool, but actually a fanning motion is an act of reverence. When I'm up here at the altar, and I'm serving by myself, it's a little bit odd when you have two priests holding things because they're kind of flopping thing. But if you see what I'm actually doing, I'm fanning these. Because that's an act of reverence. And so these aren't stable enough to be able to do that. But if you tilt them on the side, it doesn't hurt.
It deflects the prayers towards the altar.
It's just that either tradition is fine. Probably the more American tradition was to hold it upright. The older tradition is probably to have it at an angle. What would be good for us to do is when we get a parish life conference to ask, like Father Michael V, what is Siena wants to do. But I don't have a problem. Whoever's doing it, both do it the same way. Don't have one person upright and the other one tilted in. If you're both going to tilt it in. If you're going to hold it upright, hold it upright. Okay, that's fine.
You do,
Yeah. Okay, all right. I don't think we started out doing it that way, and that's a natural progression. But this is how things also develop in the church, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, any other questions on this here? Yes?
I can ask my dad to ask Father Michael.
Yeah. No, that'd be good. Please, thank you.
But if we're gonna close it, to the side.
Yeah, this is.
It's harder to hold though for people who are older.
Oh, is it easier to hold like
Put it against your leg.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what I heard.
Her bag.
That's right.
I mean, I think the key thing is just have it lined up in the same angle, regardless of how you.
We have
Doesn't
ordered.
need to be super
Candidates.
It's a holy fish rod holder.
Processions actually might do that. Okay, any other questions on this?
Do we take the
Order of two courses.
Any questions?
Oh, cots. Yes.
Cross is always up. Cross is always up. No, the cross is
Just keep it straight. Yeah, when you're coming up, you can set it down.
Yeah. Set it down with the rest of it. Any other questions? Good questions.
Father, when we're going outside the session?
Yes.
Do you want everything raised more? Does it matter?
Yeah, when you're outside, of course, this is different. Our ceilings, this is no dig at this Sadiq and who he and his wife built this church. It was a remodel. If we knew we were going to take down everything except for this wall and part of this wall, we would put another story up high. But we didn't know that, so the plans were already set. So that's why our ceiling's a lot lower. So here we have to kind of keep things down. But outside it's different. We can raise them up a little bit more during the sessions. Okay?
So until you get to the lights, and then you have
Eager, tip.
outside?
Well, if they're stationary, no, I think, you're talking about when they're stationary is only when they're tipped.
Right.
Unless, of course, you have to tip them a little bit because they're gonna bang into the things there. It's because of the low ceilings also.
Easter night.
Easter night.
Yeah.
Boston.
Concession.
Yeah, no, then the processions you're moving, you keep them upright, but once, I don't think when you're moving, you keep them tipped, do you?
No.
No, it's only when you're stationary that you tip them.
We're only tipping them to avoid the ceiling.
I know, I understand, yeah.
Different ceiling and then for standing next to
Right, right, but otherwise, in procession for outside, going, you're kept upright.
Yes,
Right?
outside, all time.
Oh, that's.
Well, no,
If we're outside, we
It is
keep
more
going
like
up in
that.
the air.
No,
He's talking about when we're at the door and we're saying,
Right.
let us in, let us in.
you can have a tip.
We can, yeah.
Because they're stationary.
Okay.
But when they're moving, you keep them upright. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Another question about this, shouldn't we move this forward a little bit to get some more space up there?
Well, this
It
is
used
good.
to be up here.
You know why we moved it back? We moved it back because of that's why we moved it back. No, but we can move it forward if we need to, because we're coming more in here and more people are going to be
Yeah,
here.
why don't we do that,
rather than
especially for Holy Week, we should give us some room wrong at the end
here. Yeah, no, we can move it, that's not a problem. We just, it's this whole thing, we're trying to take care of everybody. Try to take care of everybody.
20 people working
Okay, well, they got Any other questions? We're almost done.
Cleaner person is here.
Okay, all right, well, let's finish as if we've gone in here, and then you guys are gonna figure out what you're gonna do, let's see what you're gonna do, so you can do
Prosperous.
Taco?
No, we're going to Charlotte Road this way now. So sorry, sweetheart. We
Soccer.
He's changed it up on me. And you guys, once again, we're gonna cut those.
In fact,
Okay, just put everything away. We're gonna do a closing prayer for you guys, okay?
nay, no, out.
Okay. Oh, my thing died. I'm so sorry. All right, gentlemen.
Boys.
We can have you out there, we'll finish up. We'll just do a closing prayer, and then we'll get the shot and leave. Thank you for being patient. You've been waiting. I'm glad you didn't leave us. No child left. We have everybody? Okay, so the other thing is, gentlemen, if we can remember, if we don't want to slam the door, if we can help it, we try to be gentle. We can, right? We'll get the rollers fixed on that. But also, we want to make sure that during the week of Bright Week, Pascha night and Bright Week, Pascha day, the doors will be all left open. But for the rest of the time of year, we want to try to close it behind as we can. There's just those special movements when we don't have a deacon to go in front, we sometimes leave the doors open for the deacons to come out to do a big circle with their hand.
You just want me to be a deacon, don't you?
No.
Because we said we don't have a deacon appointed first meeting, and you keep telling people to come to you for a blessing.
That's all. All right, you guys, thank you all. Appreciate this. I know there are probably more questions we generated and help, and we can do something maybe some weeks after Bright Week to be able to try to do another one. We can order in some food, especially for you guys. To be able to do some meat and some carne. So anyway, let's close up with a prayer. So thank you for your time and energy and for the picture of this. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit, we're thankful, God, for this time together, for these your servants who seek to serve you about your holy altar. You guide us and direct us. Also keep us, O Lord, in our life to strive for the holiness that St. Mary had, seeking to purify ourselves, knowing that none of us are worthy to stand about your holy altar, but that out of love and compassion you call us to come and serve. And we are grateful for that. We ask this in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Thank you all. Appreciate it.